right, it is the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
So there's a lot to talk about, obviously, in the world. Coronavirus, of course, is still a thing, unfortunately. I had an interesting conversation yesterday with somebody at Panera, and she said, I really do hope it ends by October. And I almost wanted to say something, and then I thought I better not, and I should keep my comments to myself. What do you do when you hear that, Jesse?
I don't know. I really wish that it would be. Wait, why did she want it over by October? I'm assuming Halloween.
Well, the holidays. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like that, and more importantly, she was sharing something which I think a lot of us are having an issue with, and that is called back to school. She got three kids, count them three, and
Wow.
I think she said 8, 10, and 11, or maybe 11 and 12. I can't remember fully. And the whole going back to school thing is kind of not as easy as people would like to think, right? So
Yeah.
we want to see all of your comments in social media. What do you think? Do you think it's the right thing? Is it the wrong thing? We want to know. And obviously, we need to take a quick break. We're going to regroup. We'll be right back right after these messages with more. Stay tuned right there. All right, we're on our commercial break here. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for spending time with us. Of course, we got lots to talk about on today's show, and including this China. China's vowing retaliation. Some very interesting news, which again, I've been talking about India and China for quite some time here on the morning show. And to bring up this story is not one that makes me any happy, obviously. Jesse, we've been talking about the India-China situation for quite some time, and to see it kind of escalate in such a way when we were hopeful that they would be having peace talks, it kind of makes you wonder, right?
Yeah. I'm assuming something else happened over there.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'll discuss this in a bit. How much time do we have on this break, by the way?
We got about 20 seconds till the weather.
Okay, cool. So wait, well, how much time till we go live back on?
We got about a minute and
Okay,
10 seconds.
thank you. All right, for the rest of you tuning in, I've got a new situation here. So we're getting comfortable. We're getting used to the place here. We really do appreciate the entire Victorville city. Really been very kind and very nice. And so if you're tuning in for the very first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your very first time ever watching, please feel free to share and or comment. We'll try to bring up your social media comments, and we'll do that around the corner as well. So let us know where you're tuning in from. We'll give you shout outs as well. Well, back to the lady that I met yesterday. Her name was Rachel. Rachel, she had a little smile on her Panera badge. And I thought, you know what? It's so difficult right now for single parents and or even families to
20
be able
seconds.
to try to keep and bunker it down. You know what I mean, Jesse?
Oh, yeah. Most
So
definitely.
there is some hopeful news, though, regarding eviction notices. Not sure if you've been seeing this, Jesse, but in California, there's some
Two
very
seconds.
interesting information there. Okay, thank you. That's right. It
That's
is
right. It
the
is
morning
the
show
morning
right
show.
here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live studio audience, at least online. That's right. It's all right there. Facebook, Periscope TV, LinkedIn, and YouTube Live. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in to this morning show. We got lots of information to talk about, including a really cool interview a little bit later on some products you can use. We'll be talking a little bit later to our guest on that. First of all, we want to say a big hello, as always, to Mr. Jesse Sanchez. Hello, Jesse.
Good morning.
So, Jesse, I understand you've got some interesting news over there. You've been keeping quite busy over there.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to keep busy here with doing my little thing, catching up on my Netflix. So yeah, trying to keep busy.
Now, and I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, but you got a little Bill and Ted's Adventure weekend escapade. Can you share that with me?
Oh yes, we to have a drive-in, so I went there on the weekend, and yeah, I happened to watch Bill and Ted Face the Music, and I was pleasantly surprised. I had such a smile from ear to ear. It was great. It was such a fabulous movie.
Well, and of course, we're getting ready for just around the corner, right? Around the corner, we're going to have a very interesting guest as well, starting tomorrow. Hopefully, we're good to go with our Skype situation and technology. Again, whenever you're in a brand new studio, there's always things that will happen. So bear with us, of course. One of the top stories that I unfortunately saw as of early this morning was something that happened. And just, to bring some awareness to it, here's the headline. China vows retaliation. India boosts defenses as both claim border incursions. Evidently, this got elevated just over the weekend. China's vowed retaliation and bolstered their defenses, as well as India, amid the new flare-up in the border tensions that saw both sides accuse the other of attempting to cross their disputed boundary in the Himalayan highlands. In the latest episode to emerge, which erupted already in May, it's turned deadly. The Chinese People's Liberation Army and Indian Armed Forces charged one other Monday with trying to redraw the contested line of actual control between India-administered Ladakh and China-administered Aksai Chin. The details of the incident remain difficult to discern. But we're watching this very closely, as well as evidently India made some headway into China, and there have been some rapidly increasing tensions over there. So we're watching that, and obviously we want to make sure, if at the very least, everybody's aware of what's happening in the world. As I often say here on the morning show, unless you watch the morning show, you probably don't even know this is happening. And people often ask, well, how is that going to affect me here in the States? However, not knowing, the U.S. already has said they would go and back up India in the event of a war. So obviously, these are the precursors of something, unfortunately, that we certainly don't want to have to talk about, and yet we will if, in fact, it gets to the next level. So there's that. But in other news, let's go into some news here on the home front, and this is kind of interesting. I thought this would be interesting to talk about, because I know there's a lot of pain out there when it comes to the financial realm of just being able to pay down your debts. And one of the biggest debts that any and every family has, of course, is their rent. So question to you guys in social media, have you found it difficult, or do you know anybody that's currently saying, I don't know what I'm going to do next in the next coming months, because either A, I lost my job, and or B, I feel as though life is about to not get, I hope it gets better. I hope it gets better. Back to a conversation I had yesterday with a Panera. Big shout out to Rachel, who was over there at Panera in Murrieta. She actually had a very interesting discussion with me, because I asked her, how long do you think this is going to last? And she said, well, I hope it lasts till October. And I said, well, that's interesting, and I didn't want to say what I feel is going to be the situation. However, I feel it's important to at least remember to be kind and loving to one another. So I don't want to burst her bubble or say anything else, but I will say this. As of course, coronavirus continues to spread, we're still watching it here on the home front. However, there are many that are very having to either group up together, childcare, of course, not being what it was. You've got kids. And this particular woman had 3 kids to be exact. I believe 8, 10, and 11. And again, going back to school is difficult at home. So she has not only her work, she's going to school for her own self, as well as much, much more. This is just one of many stories that I know and I hear all the time of people that are saying, it is pain, it is difficult. Yes, I'm working, but I'm barely making ends meet, and wondering if you're going to have a job come tomorrow. So here's the latest, very interesting here in California. The California legislature approved a bill to ban evictions through January for people who cannot pay their rent because of the pandemic, sending the measure to the assembly. Under the measure, landlords cannot evict tenants who did not pay their rent between March 1st and August 31st. It would also ban evictions for tenants affected by the virus who pay at least 25% of their rent that's due between September 1st and January 31st. The measure is simply a 6-month bridge for both tenants and landlords, according to Senator Stephen Bradford, who is a Democrat from Gardena, said this bill by no stretch of the imagination is the end-all, be-all solution to the crisis. It's a compromise. It passed the Senate on a 33-2 vote, with several Republicans joining Democrats in backing it, which I say, good job, Republicans and Democrats, getting together, doing the right thing for the people. I appreciate you. I think a lot of people are going to appreciate this news as well, as it's making the headlines right now. It then passed the Assembly on a concurrence vote. The measure now heads to Governor Gavin Newsom, who has previously said he will sign it. Look, whatever side of the aisle you're on, whether you have money or whether you don't have money, I think those that don't have money are finding this as a sigh of relief, right? Because let's face it, there's a lot of people which are not always very well off to begin with prior to this pandemic. Many people have lost their jobs. Some people are struggling to get by. There's companies that are barely trying to stay open. And I know, because back to even though I was at Panera, I probably saw, curbside was great, but it's just not the same. So of course we've got situations going from bad to worse overnight, and unfortunately the world scene just is not as, well, let's put it this way. We can help make it better if we learn to talk about the matters that matter most. Does that make sense? Let's talk to Congress. Let's talk and say, look, let's get that relief. What were you guys doing with that relief? Oh, yeah, that's right. And I've said this for quite some time, and I know landlords out there are like, what? Because I know I had a discussion with the landlord here in Victorville, as a matter of fact, and he says, well, what does that mean for me? And each and every homeowner, which actually has to pay down their debt, you got to wonder how far up the chain does that go. So look, I understand this is a problem which is going to create a bigger problem and a bigger problem. I don't know what mortgage companies are going to do to help fix this, and or if the banks are going to cut in and say, look, we're going to all pull together, which, let's face it, at the very least, I think that's the least they can do. Correct me if I'm wrong, but remember when they needed a bailout? Everybody was up in arms about that, yet they got the bailout. So my question is, do you think the big banks will want to do the right thing? Or will they hold on to their money and say, no, I demand that to be foreclosed on, I demand this, I demand that, I demand this? I certainly would hope not. Yet I know a lot of people are getting their cars repossessed, rightly so. If you don't pay, you get it repossessed, right? If you don't pay rent, you should be evicted, right? And yet, here's California taking the lead in something that I have been saying for quite some time. Something needed to be done. Is it a quick fix? No. Is it a compromise? I would say it almost leans more to the person that doesn't get evicted rather than to the homeowner. So there's got to be something for the homeowners. There's a lot of people that have invested a lot of money into their own homes, and although I recently had a conversation with a couple real estate agents who said, everything's fine, it's going to be great. The financials have still maintained, everything's good. I say, just wait. It's about to get quite interesting. So there's that. And then there is this. Businesses are being allowed to reopen in certain areas here in California. Now, wherever you're tuning in from, I appreciate you. Thank you for letting us know. However, here in California, the question still begs itself, what is open, what is not, what's allowed to open, what is not, and there you go. So here's the latest. More businesses across California will be allowed to reopen, including barbershops and hair salons, as the state takes a slow, very slow, and more stringent approach to economic recovery. Governor Gavin Newsom on Friday unveiled a 4-tier color-coded system that will use daily coronavirus case numbers and positivity rates to guide counties' ability to reopen businesses. All of the counties in Southern California have what is considered a substantial or widespread COVID-19 outbreak. He said 38 counties, which have or are home to 87% of the state's population, are in the purple tier, including LA, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, and Ventura. So Jesse, just a quick question over there. Are you okay with that?
Ooh, maybe.
Okay. So, I mean, here's the question though. What does purple mean, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
What?
which I'm not gonna lie. I saw this graph and I was a little like, okay, I feel they're trying to make it warm and fuzzy, even though it's not a warm and fuzzy topic. However, according to this, this is what Ferrer said on this. LA County said, in order for our county to move through the state's tier structure, which will allow us to reopen more businesses, we must slow the COVID-19 transmission rates we are seeing. Currently, we are in Tier 1 with widespread community transmission and an average of about 13 new cases a day per 100,000 residents. This tier carries the most restrictions for the reopening of many sectors. To demonstrate reduced spread of the virus and move to Tier 2, we need to reduce our transmission rate to 7 new cases a day per 100,000 residents. So according to this, excluding LA County, barbershops and hair salons will be allowed to resume indoor operations. Retail stores will be able to operate at 25% capacity, and malls will also reopen at 25% capacity with common areas and food courts remaining closed. Health officials urge people to continue to remain vigilant in following preventative guidelines such as wearing face coverings and practicing physical distancing. For more information, though, you could go to covid19.ca.gov. And look, I understand it's very difficult to figure out everything that's happening. I mean, I'm wondering often, where are we going with this? I don't know. I do know this. We need to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages with more right here of The Morning Show. Stay tuned right there. We'll be right back right after this. It
That's
is
right.
the
It is
morning
the
show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live audience there in social media. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for the heads up as well. We see our levels are a little bit needing work on. We'll get it right. I guarantee that at some point. At some point. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you're just joining us for the very first time, look, we're at a new set in a completely new location. So do bear with us. Sometimes things get a little iffy behind the scenes, but we'll try to work that out. Some LA deputies are going to begin wearing body cameras in October. The vote set for Tuesday, which I'm not going to lie, Jesse, I kind of thought this was already a thing, but evidently it's not, at least here locally. So what do you think about that? Good idea, great idea, amazing idea?
I thought police officers were required to wear body cams at all times.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but there you go. So there's that news. And then there's this. America Ferrera, Eva Longoria are going to launch an online platform aimed at empowering Latinas. So very interesting bit of information there. Look, whenever you get to meet Eva, I will say this, she is a sweetheart through and through. I've met her on like 5 different occasions, no, maybe 8, I don't know, I lost track. But each and every time she's always she's not pretentious. There's people out there that are quite pretentious. America Ferrera as well, very kind-hearted. You don't even have to be anybody to speak with them. I remember one time, Jesse, I was in front of somebody who, and I'm not going to say his name, but I says, oh, I don't have the camera and or the mic. And he says, oh, well then, why bother? I was like, wow, okay. So, and that was like, I think 8 or 12, no, it was 8 years ago. And I thought, anybody that thinks like that, Jesse, you kind of got to wonder, right?
Just a little bit, yeah.
All right, so there's that as well. Okay, and then there is this. Look, I don't know if you guys saw the little child. We don't have the video here, but the child that was the 3-year-old girl being swept up in the air. Did you see that, Jesse?
Little girl. Oh my God, yes, I did. It that took my words away. I was like, oh my God, if I was a parent or her parent, I would be freaking out.
Yeah,
It's
and this happened in a wind gust at a festival in Taiwan. Thankfully, she eventually landed safely. I will say this, though. The fact that they were able to get her, I mean, look, I understand it's no fun being high up in the air like that, especially like last minute. I wonder if this kid's going to be traumatized for the rest of life, or if at 3 years old, you kind of wonder what that does to the little child like later on in life, right? Don't you like? Is she going to want to skydive a lot? Is she going to jump out of airplanes? Is she going to be a daredevil because she's like, I survived that, I can survive anything? Or is she going to be completely traumatized, never wanting ever to go out ever again, Jesse?
that's a good question. I'm going towards the adventure or like adrenaline junkie. Like in my mind, when she landed, she said again. So I don't know. Just be safe.
You mean like the baby of again? Okay. So there's that. And then there's this Riverside and Ventura counties. Here's the latest numbers. Just again, for those of you wondering out there, this is the latest. And of course, this is always ever evolving. And we got to say again, thank you so very much to those on the front lines, because many of you are on the front lines and you're doing the right thing, trying to keep each and every one of us safe. However, some people just feel it's just not worth taking extra precautions. I've seen it. I literally saw it in a facility, and I said, nobody's wearing a face mask in there. But you know what? This is going to happen. And is it uncool to wear a face mask? Evidently, it is. So don't do that. But here's the latest. Riverside County health officials have reported 1,049 newly confirmed cases, 12 additional fatalities over the weekend, bringing countrywide totals to 52,909 confirmed cases and 1,019 deaths. There were 43,387 reported recoveries. Officials have said and confirmed that COVID-19 patients were hospitalized Monday, with 73 being treated in intensive care units. San Bernardino County health officials reported 750 newly confirmed cases over the weekend, bringing the countrywide total to 47,642. As of Wednesday, the county's latest update, there were 318 confirmed coronavirus patients hospitalized, with 102 being treated in intensive care units. Ventura County health officials reported 307 newly confirmed cases and 1 additional fatality over the weekend, bringing countrywide totals to 10,653 cases and 116 deaths. Officials have said that, and they have confirmed 74 were confirmed and are hospitalized as of Monday, with 17 being treated in intensive care units. So look, Riverside County has 522,000 residents. In San Bernardino County, there's 479,000 residents. And Ventura County has 154,000 residents. Obviously, San Bernardino and Riverside have a lot going on. And they have, look, everybody has a lot going on. So here's what I say. Good job, Governor Newsom. Make sure that eviction situation is set up, because I've heard of certain landlords which have told people, get out of my place. And they're paying for rent. Seriously, it's a crazy thing. All right, I think we need to take another break. When we get back, we've got a very special guest coming up next here on The Morning Show. Stay tuned for more right after this.
1 minute.
All right, everybody, we're on a commercial break here as we get some things situated here in the studio. We're working on the audio situation, so give us a bit. Hopefully, we'll have it fixed by by at least the end of the show. Okay, smart shopping tips for the online marketplace. Yes, we're going to have a special expert, Trey Bodge, who's going to be sharing her tips and secrets to using online marketplaces to make extra money. I'm all for that. I don't know about you, Jesse. You ready for that?
Oh yeah, who doesn't want to save some extra money?
Yeah, right. So she's a smart shopping expert. It's no secret COVID's caused massive disruption. Online marketplaces have seen a major increase in activity since the start of the pandemic. Speaking of which, I think Zoom is up. Like, whoever would have invested in
10
Zoom right
seconds.
away would have made a killing financially. You know what I mean, Jesse?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I wish I would have done that. 2 seconds.
All right, thanks. That's right. It is the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KBT 1490 AM. Joining our live streaming audience over there on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, and of course LinkedIn. We appreciate each and every one of you. On today's show, we're going to speak to a special expert in just a minute. She's going to be talking about tips and secrets to using online marketplaces to make extra money. I'm so excited by this as well. I don't know. What about you, Jesse?
Oh yeah, very excited. Oh, I think she's calling now.
I'm sorry? Okay, so I think he's going to get her ready to go there. We'll let him do his thing in the control booth. And however you're tuning in, please do appreciate that we have so many options for you. We're on Spotify now. We're also on well, I used to call it iTunes, right? Didn't you? You called it iTunes too, I bet. Now it's called Apple Podcasts. They switched it up completely. If you listen to it on podcasts, I think there's Apple Music. I think they rebranded everything, so it's a little confusing for me, but there you go. By the way, we do got some news. Speaking of shopping, I believe a new device from Apple's coming up around the corner. Yes, iPads, and a Facebook Watch, possibly in the future. Yes. All right. So there you go. That's what's happening, and this is what's happening as well. Jesse, is our next guest ready to go?
Yes, you're all ready to go.
All right. Joining me right now is our very own expert. Yes, she is the shopping guru over there. She knows how to make everything shopping smart. We got Trey Bodge with us. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Trey.
Thanks so much for having me.
No, Trey, thank you for joining us. Look, I understand during the pandemic, shopping has changed. I recently went to a couple of malls, and no truth to the rumor, they were like 80% off and nobody inside. Is there a suggestion that you can help us with?
Yes, absolutely. So we are seeing a surge in activity on online marketplaces. Consumers are selling their gently used items to each other because, as you know, it's sometimes hard to get certain things. Like, for instance, school is in session and parents have had a hard time finding desks for their kids. And so online marketplace like the newly combined OfferUp and Let Go marketplace are a great way to find those items that are hard to locate.
Well, and look, I appreciate that. I also appreciate that, honestly, I mean, are there any suggestions that you have when it comes to looking at these places? Or because I understand you've got a couple of them, OfferUp and Let Go.
Yeah, so OfferUp and Let Go have recently combined. So now you have access to millions of buyers and sellers across the country. And I also appreciate this marketplace because you can buy and sell locally as well. So you have so many different options. It's also a very streamlined marketplace, so it's really easy to get set up and list your items. And while I'm speaking about that, it's really important if you are going to list your gently used items on the marketplace, you want to treat it as you would a small business. So you want to take really clear, well-lit pictures. You want to describe your items concisely. You want to price fairly. Use the OfferUp and Let Go marketplace as your guide. Look for, say, comparable items and price accordingly. You want to offer really good customer service if someone has a question, if you can respond quickly. And then think about items that are going to be trending right now. So if you have a lot of items to sell, focus on those things that are going to be popular. For instance, bikes are very popular right now, kayaks, things like puzzles in games, and then also, as I said, desks and other items for remote learning are also very popular to sell and buy right now.
Well, and you know, I'm currently doing a little house cleaning of myself. It's called moving out of where I live. So there were some clothes that I saw, and I'm like, I don't think anybody's going to want to wear these. But I guess sometimes maybe you shouldn't like necessarily. What do you think you should stay away from?
In terms of what you want to sell, you want to make sure that the item is could be deemed gently used and not really, really worn. So something that someone else might buy, think about it this way. Like if you were to see that item on the marketplace, would you yourself want to buy it? That's a good gauge. And then if something is too worn, you can also post it and give it away for free. There are community members who are people in need who don't have money to buy certain things, so you can do that as well.
I like that. I appreciate you. Thank you for bringing that up. We just talked about how in California they're going to stop evicting if it's signed in, and Governor Newsom said he'll sign it. So I think right now people are kind of, well, let's face it, there's a lot of tiers of levels of people, but I understand there's something for everyone on this site.
Yes, absolutely. And there are lots of different prices, and some things are more used than others. And so you have so many options on a marketplace like this, and because the two marketplaces are newly combined, you have so many more options to look at.
Fantastic. And correct me if I'm wrong, there's a really good ability to be able to not have to throw your credit card out there and wonder, is it going to land somewhere, if you know what I mean? Because you got some good security protocols in place, I understand.
That's true. So if you're shipping, they have buyer protections in place. And once you receive an item, say if you buy one on the marketplace, you have a couple of days to decide whether it's been accurately described, whether it's something that you want. So that's a great option. And then if you are meeting people in person, you exchange cash. You can look at that item, see if it's as described, if it's in the condition that you thought, and then and only then do you pay for that item.
Well, and can we talk about, parents teaching from home, because that's a huge segment right now, and I understand some. I heard it yesterday where some of the kids are not like using their electronics the best way. They're kind of like they're like devices are breaking. Are there any devices on there you can sell?
Yes, so there are devices on there, and that's another great option. And obviously, if you're having trouble financially and you need a new device, check with your school district to see if they are giving loaner devices and loaner Wi-Fi hotspots. That's something to ask your school district if you are struggling financially. But yes, you can buy electronics on the marketplace as well.
Well, and I'm so glad you mentioned this. So, supplementing income is always kind of important. And the question that I have when it comes to, are there some that are making some decent money doing this? Maybe selling items for somebody else?
I'm not sure about someone else, but if you do happen to have a lot of items in your home that are gently used, definitely sell them. This is a great opportunity to make some extra cash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always say before you throw everything out, which I'm all for like purging, which is what I got to do, but I'm not for like certain mementos. So I hear what you're saying, and I think what you're saying is any of those white worn shirts that have the little ring around the collar, don't put that up on the site.
Yeah, probably not.
That just note to self. Okay, all right. Well, look, Trey, I appreciate you. Where can we go for more information on all of this great content?
You can go to the new OfferUp and Let Go app. It's free on the App Store or Google Play, or you can visit OfferUp.com.
All right, Trey, I appreciate you. Thank you. Hopefully we can have you back with some more great tips and do some smart shopping versus throw caution to the wind shopping. So thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Okay, everyone. So there you go. Go check it out. It's available, free app. Might as well. And you know what? Look, there's no time like the present time to clean out your clutter, right? And I know some people are really pinching pennies right now. So hey, you never know. Something might strike somebody else's interest at heart. And I don't know about yard sales if those have been a thing as of late. But all I know is be careful out there. Do the smart shopping. And Trey Bodge, everybody, go follow her online. We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, for those of you tuning in, we appreciate you. And I'm a little limited because I have no laptop here like I normally do. So who knows? Maybe I'll get one day. However, Apple is in the news. Yes, they're launching count them, two new Apple Watch models, as well as a new iPad Pro this year. And of course, that begs the question: are you going to go out and get it? Jesse, I know you're kind of in the search for one yourself, right?
I wouldn't mind an Apple Watch. It'll pair well with my phone, so yay. I actually got a new cell phone a couple weeks ago, and I think I told you I was thinking about getting the iPhone 11. And you're like, well, we should wait a bit. And I kind of did. I decided I did get an iPhone, but I decided to get the cheaper version and just wait for the next year's model.
Yeah.
So I got the iPhone SE, which actually works really well. So surprisingly good for its value.
Well, and I will say this: whenever a new model comes out, the older models go down in price, right? So,
Yeah,
I just wonder how many people are gonna like go,
10
yeah, I want to
seconds.
spend my hard-earned money right now, during coronavirus. I mean, I'm all
Yeah,
for it. I am. I just kind of wonder.
yeah,
And
2
Apple did
seconds.
move their facilities from China to India, or they're in the process of, because that's a situation just waiting to happen. But there you go. But that was announced, I think, about a month and a half ago, by the way. But hey, new products, new fun. Count me in.
Yep, 2 seconds.
That's right. It
That's
is the
right. It
morning
is the
show
morning
right here
show right here
on
on
ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live studio audience, at least online. Yes, that's right. It is all there. Facebook, Periscope TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, and much, much more. We appreciate each and every one of you. Join us on Spotify and now Apple Podcasts. I'll post a link on my social media feeds. It's Aaron Michael Sanchez on all social media platforms, or Aaron M. Sanchez. You can find it right there. However you're tuning in, we appreciate you. Let's get to some of the latest really cool fun news. Yes, it is all about Apple. They're launching two new Apple Watch models as well as a new iPad Pro this year, according to Bloomberg. Citing people familiar with Apple plans, the report says the new iPad Air will have an edge-to-edge display similar to the iPad Pro. If true, that would be the biggest change in the iPad Air model in years. Of the two new upcoming watches, one will be a successor to the Apple Watch 5, while the offer will be a cheaper model that will replace Apple Watch 3 in Apple's lineup. Bloomberg also confirms earlier rumors that Apple will launch a total of, get this, 4 iPhones this year, all with OLED displays. The two high-end Pro models will actually have a 6.1 inch and a 6.7, wow, that's really big, inch display, respectively, while the basic models will come with the 5.4 inch and a 6.1 inch display. The size of the bigger Pro, it will be noticeably larger than the current iPhone 11 Pro Max's 6.5 inch display. I think what they're trying to do, Jesse, is match the Galaxy Note, because the Galaxy Note is a whopping size. Have you gotten your hands on that?
No, I have not seen it. My friend actually ordered the Ultra 20, I think it's called. I can't remember. But yeah. So I haven't touched it. It looks beautiful. I've seen pictures online and stuff. So
Yeah, it's an amazing phone, and I will say the Galaxy Note really gives the iPhone a run for its money. And I always ask people that have the Galaxy Note if they went from an iPhone, and I went to a Galaxy Note about 4 years ago. The only problem I had with that is it broke down like, I think it broke a total of 5 times in a given year, and then of course I
oh,
lost one. That one didn't count, but the other times it would crack, it would like create problems for me. I loved it though. It was like the flip open, and you flip it's flat, and I loved it. I'm glad I didn't get the design, which ended up blowing up. Not that saying that they blow up anymore. We got through that. Remember that? So there you go. The new phones will have square edges reminiscent of the iPad Pro's design. Also, the Pro models will come in a dark blue color, replacing the iPhone 11 Pro's midnight green color. Finally, the Pro models will have a LiDAR-assisted camera. What's a LiDAR-assisted camera? Jesse, do you know?
yeah, of course I do. Why don't you explain it to everybody?
I'll take it. You'll look it up soon. Okay, another big update will be, again, 5G. I'm excited about that. That alone is the reason I'm probably going to go ahead and buy one. It should be present on all 4 models. Bloomberg says that Apple has asked its suppliers to build at least 75 million 5G iPhones this year. Besides these core products, Apple will also be launching a smaller HomePod speaker this year and its first over-ear headphones that will not have Beats branding. Finally, Apple's working on a new Apple TV with a faster processor and an upgraded remote, but which may not come this year. As it is customary, Apple has not confirmed any of this, but of course, the iPad launch event is expected somewhere in between the middle of maybe and forever. No, October. So I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be different. Usually they have everybody in a packed auditorium. I would imagine it's going to be a little bit of a softer launch than normal times. But you know what? I'm just waiting to see what happens, seriously. And then there's this. America, Delta, and United are dropping. Well, I don't know if you've flown anytime soon lately, Jesse. Have you by chance?
No, it's been several years, so I don't plan anytime soon.
Okay, well, it's kind of important. Those that travel a lot, they've been complaining about this for some time. The $200 fees for most people who want to change a ticket for travel within
Wow.
the U.S. United Airlines, American Airlines, and Delta Airlines say they are just dropping it entirely. United was the first to announce the change on Sunday. United CEO Scott Kirby said this: when we hear from customers about where we can improve, getting rid of fees is often the top request. Delta and American almost immediately followed suit, informing customers Monday afternoon that the airlines will eliminate change fees on most tickets purchased for travel within the U.S. effective immediately. Delta CEO Ed Bastian said this: we want our customers to book and travel with peace of mind, knowing that we'll continue evaluating our policies to maintain the high standard of flexibility they expect. Under pressure from their competitors, American shortly after also canceled their $200 change fees for most tickets on domestic and short-haul international flights. American Chief's Revenue Officer Vasu Raja said, quote, in a world that's constantly changing, I like this guy already, American is resolute to our purpose of caring for customers at all points of their travel journey. American is offering more flexibility and ease than ever before should travel plans change. Southwest Airlines does not charge change fees. They're like, what are you guys? This is what we've been. Have you ever flown Southwest? I will tell you, I love Southwest more than the others.
No. Oh, wait, no. No, I think the last plane I flew in was Spirit Air. Is that even an airline?
They're all airlines. I can never keep up. And I don't know what's going to happen in the days ahead because, airlines are feeling the pinch as well. United
Yeah.
said it's eliminating change fees it eliminated change fees for people who buy a standard or premium economy ticket for U.S. travel. The airline also said it will extend a broad waiver of change fees, including for international travel through December 31st. That extended waiver means that customers who pay the lowest fares, called basic economy, can also change tickets for free. Starting in January, the airline will let customers fly standby for free, that's the thing again, on other flights departing the same day as their booked flight. I've always wondered what it would be like to travel as a standbyer. Have you ever considered that? Like, where in the world can I go as a standbyer? Have you ever thought of that, Jesse?
If I had the time, yes, I would. I'd be like, where should I go? Do random, randomness. Figure out where you're gonna go.
Yeah, you know what? I'm all for like an adventure. I just think during coronavirus, I kind of want to know what state I'm going to, because there's some that like threw caution to the wind and they're like paying the price. We've seen it, right? Hopefully that doesn't happen here anymore. But then there's this, Amazon. Amazon has won, get this, FAA approval. Remember, I don't know if you remember this, Jesse, but a while back, Amazon was saying that they were going to eventually deliver via a drone. Do you remember that?
FAA. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, they got approval for that?
It's here. It's done. So according to this, an Amazon package delivered from the sky is closer to becoming a reality. The Federal Aviation Administration, also known as the FAA, said Monday it had granted Amazon approval to deliver packages by drones. Amazon said that the approval is an important step, but added that it is still testing and flying the drones. I wonder if that's a job requirement. Can you say, you know what, Jesse, I think you would be pretty good at flying the drone. You could do it like on your, with your, do they do that or I got questions that need to be answered. But wouldn't that be cool? It reminds me of that movie. Remember Ready Player One? But you could put on like the virtual reality suit and then you could fly it everywhere with your hands. That'd be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, yeah, I can do that with a job. Wait, yeah, I'm thinking that with the drones, it'll probably be like all automated with GPS and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the situation here. The online shopping giant has been working on drone delivery for years. It's been slowed by regulatory hurdles. Back in December of 2013, Amazon CEO and founder Jeff Bezos said in a TV interview that drones would be flying to customers' homes within 5 years. Of course, that took a little bit longer as expected. But last year, Amazon unveiled oh, they need pilots for this. Come on, get them jobs. Self-piloting drones that are fully electric can carry 5 pounds of goods and are designed to deliver items and get this, 30 minutes by dropping them in a backyard. At the time, an Amazon executive said deliveries to shoppers would be happening within months, but more than 14 months have passed since then. Seattle-based Amazon is the third drone delivery service to win flight approval. According to the FAA, delivery company UPS and a company owned by search giant Google won approval last year. Now, Jesse, I'm just going to go out on a little well, let me ask you this. Okay, so you have like, I don't know, a bunch of packages being delivered via drones, right? And this gets really popular within the next 5 years. Imagine looking up and suddenly one of them like, and then dropping down. Would you be okay with that?
I'd be okay with it, but I would not be okay with the number of packages dropped in people's backyards that have animals that like to chew on boxes. So, because I know a lot of dogs that like to chew on cardboard, so when they see it, they go crazy.
Yeah, look, I really don't know what to think about that, except I will say this. Drones have a problem. They stop working. So it's one thing for a truck to break down. It's another thing for a drone suddenly to come at you willy-nilly. So I'm wondering what kind of paths they're going to use. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if you've ever been around a drone, you kind of get a little nervous because you're like, is that thing going to come down? And then, like, all of a sudden, an eagle flies by, swoops it out of the sky, and makes it tumble all the way down. So I'm not sure I mean, Jeff, we got to talk. I got questions that need to be answered. And then there's this. Actually, let me go back up here to something that I think a lot of you have been wondering about, and it is this. Jesse, I've always wanted a jetpack ever since the Jetsons, and I feel like this is kind of the theme for today. We're entering the Jetsons age. Do you remember that?
Yes, I did. Something happen with jetpacks? Did somebody make an actual jetpack for commercial use?
There's a multiple amount of them, right? I mean, Iron Man's got his jetpack. A pilot landing an American Airlines jet at LA International Airport reported a bizarre and close encounter Sunday night. The pilot called air traffic control to report a man wearing a jetpack flying near the airplane. Tower tapes released detail the pilot's exchange. The pilot said,
Tower, American 1997. We just passed a guy in a jetpack. American 1997. Okay, thank you. Were they off to your left or right side? Off the left side, maybe 300 yards or so, about our altitude.
who's been drinking in that home, right? It's a plane, by the way. The jet was flying at an altitude of 3,000 feet at the time of the encounter. The tower then warned other approaching flights to be on the lookout for a man on the jetpack. There's a search for a man on a jetpack. Did you ever see Rocket Man?
Rocket Man. Yes, great movie. I like that one.
I love that movie. It was so good. I think this guy is that guy, and I can't make this up. I want to make it up, but I can't, and so I'm just not. So there you go. And then there is this Long Beach. Long Beach. I appreciate you guys in Long Beach. I really do. I love to visit Long Beach. Not sure if you visit anytime soon, Jesse. There's a lot of great eateries there, although, again, the majority of them are closed.
Yeah.
Outside protocols exist. But Long Beach is doing the very important step by helping their residents once again. And I say, I applaud that. Do that. Do more of that. There are so many that are not doing exactly that, and they are basically, if this would load, they are basically wanting to make sure that their residents have some cash in hand for what? Groceries, items, just to be able to live, to make ends meet. Look, the headline is this: Long Beach to begin payments to help neediest families with rent. Again, Long Beach going ahead of the game, even though Governor Newsom, again, according to the latest, and if you're just joining us, the eviction process is not being allowed to proceed, and that has been voted upon. Now it just needs to be signed. Governor Newsom will be signing that, so I'm sure that will be a huge relief for the majority of people that thought, I got to get out of my house because I haven't been able to pay. I'm sure there are probably steps and things that you're going to have to be able to do, but make sure to do the right thing. And of course, look, if you can pay, do pay. If you can't pay, make sure you at least communicate that and make sure that you take advantage of this ability. So, Jesse, look, lots of stuff that we've covered. Unfortunately, not all of it good, but some of it at least hopeful, right? Let's do the right thing. Let's put people back to work, I hope. And of course, those that have really fallen on hard times, make sure to be able to support one another because unfortunately, we're all in this together. I keep saying that. Let's keep doing the right thing, even if it might be difficult for us. All right, people, I've run out of time here on The Morning Show. Jesse, take it away.